Interpersonal relationships are so vital, particularly today. You know, if you go back into the era of Billy Graham, and in England that was 1954, Billy came to England, and 90% of the people who went forward at the Haringey rallies for Billy Graham in 1954 were already in church. They actually needed to have an explanation of the cross and their need to beg for forgiveness explained to them, but they were already attending church. That's not true today. So therefore, it is essential, actually, that as Christians, we are taking the gospel to our friends and loving them into the kingdom by actually showing them the gospel and showing them the difference it makes in our lives. It won't be what we do, it will be what the power of the Holy Spirit does through us. And the word does not go out empty. So actually, increasingly, it is so vital that we go out and take the gospel to our friends. Let me just say this. I've had some feedback from America recently, which is really interesting. I've had some ministers who've been saying to me, look, we realize now that actually what our Christians in our churches have been doing isn't necessarily that brilliant. What they've been saying to their neighbors is, you must come to our churches. It's so entertaining. And when we get our friends into the church and we've converted them, we put them on program for their money, for their relationship. We keep them in. We keep them on their programs. Actually, that's not Acts. The book of Acts is all about individual Christians taking the gospel to their friends outside church. And then by loving them and showing them and talking to them about what it means to be a Christian, then bringing them in to the body of church. It is a complete change. If you want to see it graphically, imagine this. Imagine a triangle based literally with the point at the bottom. Where so much of what we've been doing in church has been going is the top half of the triangle is all about events. And the bottom half is we're telling our people in church, you must bring your friends to the latest event that we're doing, the latest outreach. We're pressurizing our people. You must support the latest event. And actually, in the churches, the ministry team are stressed out thinking up the latest event. Terrible pressure on them because the world views them as the only people that do evangelism. Now, here's what happens if actually the emphasis changes and we as normal believers are now taking the gospel to our friends. The triangle is now on the other basis. It's now solidly built. And it is all about we as Christians living and sharing the gospel, now asking our churches to support us with events that we can bring our friends to because we've already introduced the gospel. Well, that's happening. And I don't find it at all surprising that today the Lord's answer to a world which is biblically ignorant is he's putting the gospel back where the gospel belongs, in the hands of normal believers.